I've always been a bit slow on the uptake. I've never been the quickest on the uptake. So when my real parents finally brought me home, and the girl who had been living in my place, Lila, rushed forward with a syrupy smile, I didn't quite catch on. "Oh, you poor thing," she cooed, her eyes wide with fake sympathy. "You must have suffered so much. Why don't you take my room? It's the biggest one." My parents looked at her, their pride shining through at her apparent generosity. I, on the other hand, nodded eagerly, almost too fast. "Yes. That's perfect. I love big rooms. I can help you pack." The room fell silent the moment I spoke. Lila's expression flickered, something dark flashing across her face before she smoothed it over. The moment I stepped through the front door of my true home, Lila was there, all smiles and courtesy, ready to give me a tour. "This is my bedroom," she announced, sweeping her hand across the space. "Here's my study, my music room, and that one over there belongs to my brother." She hesitated, pretending to look disappointed. "Oh, dear, seems like the only space left is the tiny storage closet." She looked at our parents, expectant. My mother wrung her hands nervously. "Stella, sweetie, the house is a bit crowded right now. Maybe you could pick another room?" Lila cut her off, her tone sweet and selfless. "Stella, you've had such a hard time all these years. Please take my room. It's the least I can do." My parents beamed at her. I, meanwhile, practically glowed. I nodded enthusiastically, head bobbing. "Yes. Wonderful. I'll take it. Let me help you pack." Silence. All eyes on me. Lila's face tightened, a shadow of anger crossing her features. I dropped my backpack and started gathering her things without hesitation. Tears formed in Lila's eyes as she turned to our parents, voice trembling. "Mom, won't she be scared all alone in such a huge room?" My mother hurried over, gripping my arm. "Stella, there are other rooms. Maybe you should choose a different one." I tilted my head, confused. "But you said the only free space was the storage closet." "Wait, do you mean she doesn't want me to have the room anymore?" Both parents snapped their heads toward Lila. A blush rose on her neck, but she couldn't admit her act of kindness had been a lie. "No, that's not what I meant," she stammered. I smiled, dimples showing. "Mom, she already offered. She can't take it back. Could you move, please? You're in my way." Lila froze, tears spilling down her cheeks. My mother's eyes softened with sympathy, but I didn't notice. I rolled up my sleeves and finished packing her things quickly. Pointing toward the narrow closet at the end of the hall, I asked, "So, is this where your things go?" Lila glared at me, teeth clenched, and stormed downstairs without a word. I couldn't understand why she was upset. Being helpful had always come naturally, so I carried her belongings into the storage closet, without complaint. Later that evening, my brother Leo returned home. The second Lila saw him, she flung herself into his arms, sobbing. "Leo. She took my room. She just took it." His expression hardened instantly, eyes shooting daggers at me. I stood, greeting him politely. "Hello, brother." His face turned icy. "I only have one sister, and that's Lila. Don't call me that." My eyes widened. "Wait, aren't you their real son either?" Leo's face twisted with fury. "Stella, what are you talking about? Just because you share blood doesn't mean you can replace Lila." "Family isn't only about blood," I said. Lila peeked up, a triumphant smile on her face. "Oh, Leo, you're the only one who truly cares about me." I nodded. "True. Her father is gone, and her mother's in prison, so her chance at family is, well, complicated." Instantly, both Lila and Leo froze. Lila's face went pale, a sheen of sweat forming on her forehead. Her eyes rolled back, and she collapsed into Leo's arms. "Lila," he shouted, panic in his voice. I rushed forward, trying to revive her, patting her cheeks, but nothing worked. My parents ran down the stairs in alarm. "What happened?" my father demanded. Leo, holding Lila, shoved me to the floor. "This is all Stella's fault. If anything happens to her, I'll never forgive you." Then he stormed out, carrying her. My parents turned to me, stunned. "Stella," my father demanded, "what did you say to her?" I looked down, guilt twisting in my stomach. I mentioned her father and mother. That her father was gone, her mother in prison. I think it made her faint. My mother stumbled back, collapsing onto the sofa, tears streaming. How could you say such things to her?" I blinked, genuinely puzzled. "Wait, you're not supposed to talk about it?" By the time we arrived at the hospital, Lila was awake, tears streaming down her face as she clung to Leo. "Don't worry," he said, brushing her hair back gently. "You're my real sister. Stella's just some orphan they dragged back from the countryside. Once she turns 18, I'll make sure Mom and Dad send her away." Lila's eyes, still red from crying, brightened slightly. "Really, Leo? When have I ever lied to you?" he replied, smiling. As soon as she noticed us, Lila flung herself from the bed and dropped to her knees before me. "Stella, I'm so sorry. I had no idea my birth parents hurt you. Please, just hit me." Before I could react, she grabbed my hand and pressed it against her cheek. Leo's furious shout filled the room. "Stella, what are you doing?" I stood frozen, my mind blank. All I could see was her mother, Martha. Martha had done the exact same thing to me when I was a child. If I drank an entire bowl of porridge, she would grab my hand and force me to strike her. "You ate all that? Are you trying to starve me? Go ahead, just kill me now," she would scream, enraged the instant my small hand touched her cheek. Then the bamboo cane would come down, leaving me bruised and bleeding. Every day, it was the same ritual. She'd make me hit her, then she'd punish me until I passed out. One teacher even reported her to the authorities, only to return home to worse beatings. It wasn't until the police came from another state that I discovered the truth. I wasn't her daughter at all. She had stolen me. She was arrested, but never revealed where I had been taken from. With no other option, the authorities placed me in an orphanage. Now, in the hospital room, Lila's cries and desperate pleas forced my hand against her face. "Hit me. Kill me. It's all my fault." Something inside me snapped. In a blind fury, I grabbed her hair and struck her again and again. For years, all I had wanted was vengeance on Martha, but she was locked away, untouchable. Lila, unknowingly, became the outlet for that rage. Her screams echoed down the corridor. My parents and Leo tried to pull me away, but I was stronger than anyone expected. I didn't stop until her face was swollen and bruised, and then the world went black. I fainted. When I came to, a doctor's voice echoed in my ears. "Stella suffers from severe emotional detachment disorder. She cannot cope with provocation like this. Were you aware?" "Doctor, what does that mean?" "It's a psychological injury caused by prolonged exposure to trauma and hostile environments," he explained. "But she seems so cheerful all the time," my mother murmured. The doctor sighed. "That's exactly why it's dangerous. The cheerful exterior masks severe inner damage." My parents remained silent, absorbing his words. Leo leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, a cold sneer on his face. I knew she was faking it. Mental illness is just an excuse. I trust science, not theatrics. She's probably doing this to get rid of Lila. Don't believe a word. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving the room heavy with tension. I woke to a soft, coaxing voice. "Stella, sweetie, get up and have something to eat." My mother sat beside my bed, holding a bowl of porridge. Her expression was hard to read, part concern, part something else I couldn't place. My stomach churned at the sight of it, but hunger won over. I took the bowl and slurped down half before setting it back on the nightstand. "Already full?" she asked gently. I shook my head. No. Martha never let me finish a whole bowl. I'd get beaten if I tried. Tears welled in my mother's eyes as she looked at the half-eaten porridge. "Oh, Stella, you've endured so much." I smiled faintly. "It's okay. Really, it wasn't that bad." Once we got home, Leo immediately stepped in front of me. "Stella, Lila's a gentle, kind person. Stay away from her. Don't cause trouble." He paused, his voice cold. "If you can do that, maybe I can accept you as my sister." My mother's face stiffened. "Leo, how dare you speak to your sister that way?" Lila provoked Stella too. My father added firmly, "What happened yesterday is behind us. From now on, you will treat your real sister with respect. Do you understand?" Leo's jaw tightened, eyes burning with resentment, but I simply smiled brightly. "Okay. How far away do you want me? 3 feet enough." My parents looked at me, guilt etched on their faces. "Stella, you don't have to," Leo muttered under his breath. "Let's see how long you can keep this act up," and stalked away. Dinner brought more tension. Lila sat at the table, her eyes wary, glistening with unshed tears. Leo stood beside her, a silent guard. I picked up my plate and, under everyone's watchful gaze, chose the far end of the long dining table, keeping my distance.
The housekeeper peered at me.
Miss, can you reach the food from there?
I smiled sweetly.
Nope. A pause. No one moved. My mother got up. Stella, won't you come sit closer?
My father set down his chopsticks.
Come on, eat properly. I looked at Lila and said earnestly, Leo told me to stay away from her. I can't. Lila's face fell, anguish plain. It's my fault. I'll move, then Stella can eat. She stood, glaring at me one last time, and stormed off. Neither parent stopped her. I grinned and moved to her empty seat.
She's gone.
I can eat now. Leo sprang to his feet, fury written all over his face. He slammed my plate to the floor. You made her leave. Are you happy now? Does your return mean she can't even eat in this house? I scrambled to scoop the rice back into my hands, ignoring the sharp fragments cutting my palms. The metallic tang of blood filled my mouth, familiar, terrifying, strangely comforting. When I was 7, spilling porridge meant punishment. Martha made me lick it off the floor, my tongue slicing against broken ceramic. Then she threw me into the kennel with vicious dogs. They tore at me, leaving me bloody and mangled, saved only when the villagers heard my screams. Martha barely looked at me when I returned, cracking sunflower seeds. Still alive, huh? Just a little lesson in wasting food. Now, on the floor, I tried to salvage the rice, ignoring the pain and the metallic taste. My mother ran to me, tears in her eyes, pulling me into her arms. Stella, no, it's on the floor. Don't eat it, please don't eat it. Leo's face flickered with panic. Stella, you. My father stepped in, slapping Leo across the face. Stella is your sister. Apologize.
Now.
Leo opened his lips, but no sound came out. The following morning, my parents transferred me to the same private academy where Lila studied. After I settled into class, I went to the restroom. The moment I stepped inside, a bucket of murky red water tipped from above and drenched me completely. My once white uniform turned blotchy and translucent, clinging to my skin and revealing far too much. I splashed water on my face, then stepped out. A group of boys nearby whistled and laughed. Her chest is flat. One of them sneered. I glanced down, nodded, and replied evenly, yeah, I guess it is. Their laughter died on the spot. Back in the classroom, I sat in silence while puddles formed beneath my chair. When the bell rang, I was the only one still focused on the lesson. Everyone else was staring. Stella, please go change your clothes, the teacher said. I don't have another set, I answered quietly. She sighed. Then go see the principal. The principal took one look at me and immediately phoned my parents. When my mother arrived, I was wrapped in a towel, sipping warm water in the office. Her eyes glistened at the sight of me, dripping and trembling. My father's voice was thunderous. Who did this to you? I don't know, I said, shaking my head. Maybe someone knocked the bucket over by mistake. How could that possibly be an accident? My mother cried. Trying to calm them and protect the school's donors, the principal quickly brought up the security footage. The recording showed Lila's group trailing behind me. 2 girls followed me into the restroom and locked the door. Moments later, an empty bucket rolled out, and laughter echoed as they rejoined Lila waiting in the hall. I frowned at the screen. Those are Lila's friends, right? Then it must have been an accident. My parents looked at me, torn between grief and guilt. The red dye refused to wash off. My mother insisted on helping me clean it, even though I was 16 and mortified. She made me lie on my stomach in the bathtub while she scrubbed my back gently. Suddenly, she gasped and began to sob. Mom, what's wrong? Is it not coming off? No, honey, she choked out. I'll make it better, I promise. Her touch was so soft that I eventually drifted to sleep in the warm water. When I woke, I was tucked in bed. But downstairs, shouting filled the house. Lila, why can't you leave Stella alone? My mother demanded. Lila shook her head frantically. I didn't do anything. Don't lie to me. You know what happened today. And you just believe her? Lila snapped. My mother held up her phone, the security footage playing on the screen. Lila's face drained of color. You really went that far? Then she scrambled for an excuse. It was Jessica and the others. They only wanted to defend me. Slap. My mother's hand struck her cheek. Stella is your sister. Tears sprang to Lila's eyes. I've been your daughter for 16 years, and you hit me? Dad, say something. My father's tone was glacial. Stella is our daughter too. Our real daughter. Lila fell to the floor, sobbing. That was when my brother Leo walked in. He saw Lila crying and hurried to her side. Mom, Dad, what's gotten into you? Lila's been your daughter, her whole life. My mother handed him the phone. He watched the clip silently, then looked up at me on the stairs. His expression flickered between confusion and pain. Leo, I swear I didn't mean to hurt her, Lila pleaded. Jessica and the others went too far. I just didn't stop them. It's my fault. I know, he murmured. He helped her stand and turned to our parents. You know Lila. She's kind. She wouldn't deliberately hurt anyone. You're letting yourselves be manipulated. He took Lila's hand. If there's no place for her here, then I'll leave with her. My mother's voice hardened. This is Stella's home. If Lila can't accept her, she's the one who should leave. She took the life that belonged to Stella. She has no right to drive anyone out. Leo froze. It wasn't her fault. It was her parents who switched them. She's a victim too. My mother let out a bitter laugh through tears. A victim? She stormed up the stairs, grabbed my arm, and pulled me forward. Then she lifted the back of my shirt. If Lila is the victim, then what is Stella? Leo's eyes widened at the lattice of scars across my back. The color drained from his face, and fury replaced the disbelief. Those scars, what happened to her, he whispered. I turned my back and let my shirt fall. It's nothing, I said, shrugging. It happened ages ago. Martha did it. I was slow with the chores, I messed up the massages, so I got punished. Leo released Lila and came to stand beside me. He rested his hands on my shoulders, voice breaking. Stella, he whispered, do those scars still hurt? I smiled, dimples appearing. Not anymore. I cocked my head, genuinely puzzled by his tears. Why are you crying? No one's hitting you. He wept openly, then hugged me so hard I thought he might squeeze the breath out of me. I'm so sorry for what you went through. I smiled and tried to make light of it. It's fine, really. Martha's locked up now. She can't touch me. Lila watched from the doorway, then slipped away without a sound. She didn't join us for dinner. Leo went upstairs to find her, knocking for a long time before finally forcing the door open. Lila lay on the floor, wrists sliced, blood staining the carpet. She refused medical attention at first, crawling toward our parents and grabbing at their legs. Dad, Mom, I was wrong, she begged, voice ragged. It was my birth parents who did those things to Stella. Please forgive me. I'll be better, I promise. Our parents tried to pull away. Let go, Lila. She wouldn't. I crouched down, pried her fingers loose one by one and said softly, Mom and Dad said to let go. I'll help you. Lila looked to Leo for support. He turned his face away. If there's nothing else, let's eat. Reluctantly, everyone returned to the table. The housekeeper cleaned and bandaged Lila's wrists, and she gathered herself enough to sit with us. After that night, Leo changed. He treated me like a child, doting and overprotective. He lavished me with shopping trips, drove me to and from school, and hovered over my homework. With Lila, he grew distant, guarded whenever she was near. One evening after tutoring, when the driver had to leave because Leo had work, Lila convinced me she wanted a snack from a nearby food cart. She led me away from the main road, down darker, narrowing alleys. The streetlights thinned until we ended up in a deserted junkyard, where there were no food stalls, only piles of discarded metal and a stale wind. Where's the food? I asked. She laughed, something hollow and cold. You are the food, tomorrow, for the incinerator. I turned to leave, but before I could move, bulky men stepped out from behind a heap of scrap. Lila melted into the shadows, watching. It's your fault, Stella, she spat. If you hadn't come back, everything would have been mine. You stole it. You stole my life. I dropped my bag and ran, but a hand closed around me. They hauled me up, slammed me to the ground, and kicked without mercy. My ribs burned, breath tore from my lungs. I managed to fumble for my phone and call Leo. Stella, what's wrong? His voice sounded far away. Help me. I managed. A boot crushed the phone beneath it. One of the men hauled me to my feet, sneered, and said, Tomorrow you go in the incinerator, with the rest of this trash. Let's see you survive as a princess then. They threw me down again, and again. Under the flicker of a distant street lamp, Lila's face was a study in triumph, cruel and unrepentant. She looked like him, I thought, cold and satisfied, the same feral pride I had seen in her father. When I was 6, Lila's biological father was arrested for human trafficking. Before his execution, Martha dragged me to see him. He stared through the glass, a twisted smile on his face. You did this. All of you women. You're why I'm going to die. I'll never forgive you. I screamed and cried, but Martha held my head in place, forcing me to watch as they took him away. You killed your father, she whispered repeatedly. You're a wicked child. From that day, I became a girl who felt nothing. I couldn't grasp what others meant when they spoke. Reading comprehension was a mystery. Understanding people, reading between the lines, impossible. The metallic taste of blood lingered in my mouth as I shut my eyes, surrendering for a moment. Stella. It was Leo. He barreled into the junkyard like a storm, attacking the men who had cornered me. I was tossed aside like a rag doll. I struggled to my feet and tried to stumble away, but Lila stepped in front of me. Her face twisted into that same cruel grin. Something inside me snapped. Ignoring my aching body, I lunged, grabbed her hair, and slammed her head against a concrete pillar. Her scream pierced the night, fueling my rage. Blood pooled on the ground, but I kept going until my strength finally failed. I collapsed. Lila, dazed but furious, grabbed an iron pipe and raised it over me. Suddenly, Leo moved in front of me. There was a sickening thud. Blood poured from a wound on his head, dripping onto my face. He didn't flinch. Using his sleeve, he wiped it away, then scooped me up and started carrying me out. Lila's screams followed us. Leo. Brother. You promised. You can't leave me. He didn't look back. She stumbled after us, but a car rounded the corner too fast, striking her before she could react. When I woke in the hospital, my entire family was gathered around. They fussed over me, asking if I was okay. I smiled. I'm fine. Honestly, I never went to the hospital when I got hurt before. It always healed eventually. My parents and Leo looked away, secretly dabbing at their tears. I don't want to go back to school with Lila, I said, pouting. She's evil. My mother forced a smile through her tears. Okay, sweetie. You'll go somewhere else. My own driver, my father added. Safe transportation from now on. Great, I said. Leo, bruised and bandaged, took my hand. Stella, can you forgive me? You saved me, I replied. I should be thanking you. His eyes grew redder. Suddenly, a commotion erupted. A nurse burst in, shouting that a patient was threatening to jump from the roof. It was Lila. I leapt from bed. I want to see. I ran after her, my parents close behind. She perched on the edge, eyes locked on Leo, desperate. Leo. Brother. Forgive me. It was Stella's fault. I was just scared. I never meant to hurt her. Leo's gaze was icy. Do you think I'm a fool? She froze, tears streaming down her face. Mom was right, he said, voice cutting. You stole 16 years of a happy life from Stella. She had to shut down to survive. All of this, your lies, your parents' lies, it created her. You are selfish, just like them. From now on, you're not my sister. Lila screamed, pounding on the ledge. I am your sister. You promised. Why does she get everything? She's nothing but a broken idiot. Leo covered my ears, shouting back, she is not an idiot. In her frenzy, her hand slipped. She fell. Help me. Her scream ended as her body hit the ground. Lila was dead. The family arranged her body quietly. No funeral, no headstone, nothing. My parents said she no longer deserved the family name. Shortly after, the family relocated the main branch of their business overseas. My parents and Leo moved with me. They wanted me to start fresh, in a new place, free from the shadows of the past. The doctors warned that my emotional detachment disorder might never fully heal. But it didn't matter. They promised that no one would ever hurt me again. In our new home, my mother planted a garden bursting with my favorite flowers. My father built a swing just for me, where I could sit and watch the sunset. And Leo? He drove me to school and back every single day. Even if he had a meeting, he'd work from the car while waiting for me. My mother purchased the finest scar cream and applied it to my back every night. The past can't be erased, she said, but we can embrace the future. I didn't fully understand what she meant, but I loved it here. I felt safe, and for the first time in my life, I felt free. Gradually, the scars on my back began to fade. And slowly, I began to smile genuinely. The nightmares stopped. I no longer dreamt of beatings, starvation, or being thrown to dogs. My nights were filled with friends, picnics, celebrations, and horseback rides. At 16, I finally discovered what happiness felt like, a strength growing quietly from within my own heart. Epilogue: Leo's perspective. The first time I saw Stella, Lila complained that she had stolen her room. And there she was, sitting casually on the sofa eating potato chips. She had no grace, no polish, nothing like Lila, who had always carried herself with elegance. She called me brother, but her eyes, there was something raw, unfiltered, almost absurdly naive in them. She even asked if I was adopted. Was that supposed to be sarcasm? I couldn't tell. It was infuriating. When she caused Lila to faint, I realized there was more to Stella than anyone could see at first glance. The doctors diagnosed her with severe trauma-related disorders, which explained the blankness, the seeming detachment. I had to watch her carefully. When she had knocked over her plate at dinner, I lost my temper and reacted impulsively, but seeing her on the floor, bleeding slightly and trying to gather the rice, I felt my heart twist. She was just 16. What had she endured? Lila had spent her life trying to make trouble for Stella, and I had known her for 16 years. I wanted them to coexist, but it was impossible. Stella's safety always came first. When I received her call that day, terror ripped through me. She had been left alone and beaten in the junkyard. It was my responsibility, and I felt every ounce of failure. Thank God she survived. From that day forward, I vowed to protect her. Lila attempted manipulation again, but this time it backfired. Her fall ended it all. It was justice, cruel but necessary. I suggested to my parents that we move the family and business abroad. They agreed immediately. In our new home, Stella flourished. She made friends, explored new interests, and laughed freely, a pure, unguarded sound that warmed my heart. I swore to myself then, and I swear still, I will always protect her. My real sister. No one will ever hurt her again.